Good day. Welcome to Mayor King's TV News. I am Matsu Okwamitorishe and here are the headlines. Indigenous Correspondents Chapel is Dr. Egware's elevation as EA on media. Students protest renaming of Polytechnic Ibadan after ex-Governor Olunloyo. Aviation Ministry and NAF to stage Nigeria's first international air show. Inec unveils 2025 to 2026 election timetable and resumes voters' registration. Fashion's Finest Africa unveils vision for 2025 epic show as it eyes global opportunity for designers. US and Nigeria to bridge protein gap with soya beans trade. Trump threatens to set Dodge on mocks as pursued over budget plan. Premier League club interested in Aroko Dare. Now the news in details. The Indigenous Correspondents Chapel (ICC) of the Nigeria Union of Journalists (NUJ) Delta State Council has extended warm congratulations to Dr. Nelson Egware on his well-deserved elevation to the position of Executive Assistant (EA) on media to the Governor of Delta State, Right Honorable Sheriff Oborevwori. In a statement on Tuesday, July 1st, 2025, jointly signed by Kenneth Owusi and Michael Odia, Chairman and Secretary of the Chapel respectively, the body described Dr. Egware's elevation as a commendable reward for competence, loyalty, and years of dedicated service to the advancement of strategic communication and professionalism to the state. The chapel noted that Dr. Egware has consistently demonstrated exceptional professionalism, media intelligence, and unwavering commitment to the public service communication traits, while serving as Senior Special Assistant on media that have not only earned him the respect of his peers, but have also contributed to the positive image of a Oborevwori-led administration. The ICC praised Dr. Egware for his media leadership roles as publisher of The Truth Reporters, editor of Veracity magazine, and deputy editor of Delta Revealed, noting that his scholarly contributions and media advocacy have set a high standard for ethical journalism and public information dissemination in the state. Additionally, the chapel commended Governor Oborevwori for his inclusive approach to the governance and for identifying and elevating talent based on merit and performance. Students of the Polytechnic Ibadan have trooped out in mass to protest the decision of Governor Seyi Makinde to rename the institution after one of his predecessors, late Dr. Omololu Olunloyo. Hundreds of commuters plying the ever-busy Shango Eleyele Road in Ibadan, the Oyo State capital, were stranded as a result of the protest. Makinde has few days ago renamed the Polytechnic Ibadan Omololu Olunloyo Polytechnic Ibadan, recalling that Olunloyo was the first Ibadan person to serve as the governor of Old Oyo State. It served between October and December 1983. The students in the early hours of Tuesday blocked the entrance gate of the institution. They also blocked the ever-busy Shango Eleyele Road. However, the Oyo State Road Transport Management Agency, OYTMA, in a statement by the executive chairman, Mark Adekoya, retired, enjoined commuters to use alternative routes for their movements, pending temporary blockage of the roads. The Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development and the Nigerian Air Force have established a committee to finalize arrangements for the inaugural Nigeria International Air Show slated for December 2025. This, according to the ministry, aims to bolster national collaboration and develop its aerospace workforce. The decision, according to the ministry in a statement on Monday, was formalized during a courtesy visit by the Permanent Secretary of the Ministry of Aviation and Aerospace Development, Dr. Ibrahim Abubakar Kana, to the Nigerian Air Force headquarters. The statement confirming this development was signed by Ed Press and Public Affairs Ministry of Aviation Odutayo Oluseyi. Kana expressed gratitude to the NFF for their consistent professionalism and emphasized that the visit aimed to deepen collaboration to ensure the successful hosting of the air show. Highlighting the global nature of air shows, while typically feature both civil and military components, Kana urged the Chief of Air Staff to leverage the NAF's extensive knowledge and platforms. The newly formed committee has been tasked with determining the appropriate venue and bringing other key stakeholders on board. Also, the airshow is envisioned to feature leading civil and defense aviation companies from around the world, displaying their goods and services. It is anticipated that the event will serve as a platform for business transactions, significantly boosting Nigeria's economy, culture, and tourism sectors. The Independent National Electoral Commission has unveiled a comprehensive electoral timetable for 2025 and 2026, including five major elections and the nationwide resumption of continuous voters registration. The announcement was made by Inec Chairman Professor Mahmood Yakubu during the second quarterly consultative meeting with resident electoral commissioners held in Abuja on Tuesday. The electoral body, in a statement on its official X handle, said this is gearing up for a busy period with a series of crucial polls scheduled across various states. Yakubu also announced the nationwide resumption of the continuous voter registration exercise. He stated that the online pre-registration will commence on August 18, 2025, followed by in-person registration across the country from August 25, 2025. For Anambra State, ahead of its governorship election, the CVRO will begin earlier next week and will be conducted simultaneously in all 326 wards. To ensure the compilation of a new voters register at least 90 days before the election, as required by the law. During the meeting, Yakubu welcomed two newly appointed national commissioners, Professor Sunday Aja, Abdulrazak Yusuf, as well as six recently sworn-in ROECs attending the meeting for the first time. He emphasized the critical role of ROECs in election management, urging them to proactively implement policy, procedural issues without constant prompting from the headquarters. Now on the entertainment news. With less than a week to go, Fashion Finest Africa (FFA) has unveiled its vision for Epic Show 2025, a two-day fashion experience to spotlight African creative and industry innovation. The urgent conversations about the region fashion ecosystem structural challenges. The fashion event scheduled for 5th to 6th July 2025 at the Podium Lekki, Lagos, promises a dynamic mix of runway showcases, panel discussions, and creative exhibitions. It will also feature talents from Nigeria, UK, and Germany starting at 11 a.m. daily. At the official briefing, Sola Oyebade, Mr. Maugani, and founder of the Fashion's Finest Africa, reflected on the platform's 16-year journey from the UK to Nigeria. However, more than a fashion event, the show underscores a vision to empower creative, designer stylists, makeups, artists, producers, and fashion tech disruptors. According to the organizers, the empowerment will be achieved by helping them gain visibility and access to global opportunities. Additionally, the lead strategist at FFA, Ware Emonefe, emphasized the show brought the global of unlocking industry access while celebrating Africa identity and storytelling. Now on the business news. The United States and Nigeria have deepened collaboration to tackle Nigerians' growing protein deficiency through strengthened agricultural trade, focusing on U.S. soybeans exports. According to a statement, acting U.S. Consul General Lagos, Jolene Gog, described the event as a pivotal milestone in creating a pathway for mutual prosperity and shared economic success. Gog noted that the U.S. mission in Nigeria would continue to support efforts to link U.S. agribusinesses with local firms. Prominent Nigerian stakeholders at the event included former President Olusegun Obasanjo, Oyo State Governor Seyi Makinde, Lagos State Commissioner for Agriculture and Food Systems, Abisola Olusonya. The U.S. consulate affirmed that the Nigerian leadership participation underscored the importance of U.S.-Nigerian collaboration in bridging countries' nutritional deficits. Citing nutritional data, the Council noted that with over 236 million citizens, Nigerian average protein consumption is just 45.4 grams per person per day, well below the global average of 64 grams and the FAO's recommended 60 grams. It is added that the USDA Foreign Agricultural Service estimate 2023/2024 soya bean production for 1.15 million metric tons, far short of domestic demand, especially for animal feed. Due to this gap, Nigeria resumed imports of US soya beans in 2024, bringing in 62,100 metric tons after a 6-year hiatus. Stakeholders at the conference described this motive as a promising sign of future growth in agricultural trade. The conference highlighted how targeted trade initiatives, knowledge exchange, and trust building between the two countries can ensure food security and help Nigeria meet its nutritional needs. Now on the foreign news. US President Donald Trump has suggested that Department of Government Efficiency, the cost-cutting agency Elon Musk helped set up, could be used to halt the billionaire's companies as the former allies continue their public dispute over Trump's budget plans. Musk has repeatedly criticized Trump's so-called Big Beautiful Bill, suggesting that it undermines the work he undertook to cut government spending. Recounting that a row between Trump and Musk first blew up last month with a pair trading barbs publicly before Musk backtracked on some of his attacks. Also, Musk was in charge of Dodge, which has been tasked with finding ways of cutting government spending until his acrimonious White House departure over the Big Beautiful Bill. In the meantime, Congress is currently voting on Trump's bill. Trump has suggested that the dissent from Tesla and SpaceX owner relates to a part of his bill that would remove incentives to buy electric vehicles such as those Musk produces. The president also threatened to remove government subsidies from which Musk companies benefit from. Now on the sports news. Fulham are weighing up a move for the KRC gang forward Tolu Akrokadare this summer. The Nigerian international caught the eye with his impressive performances for the Smurfs last season. Arokadare claimed the top scorer award in the Bengal Pro League with 17 goals and 23 across all competitions. The 24-year-old is one of the Europe's most sought-after young strikers. However, Fulham are desperate to bolster their attacking options after missing out on a place in Europe last season. Manchester United and AC Milan are also reportedly interested in the player, while Bundesliga agents Bayern Munich and Borussia Dortmund have also been credited with an interest. In addition, Arokadare is eager to test himself in the Premier League. Fulham have already had exploratory talks with the striker representatives to facilitate a transfer to England. The Cottagers already have two Nigerians, Alexi Wobi, Calvin Bassey, in their ranks. Now a recap on our headlines. Indigenous Correspondents Chapel hails Dr. Egware's elevation as EA on media. Students protest renaming of Polytechnic Ibadan after ex-Governor Olunloyo. Aviation Ministry and NAF to stage Nigeria's first international air show. Inec unveils 2025 to 2026 election timetable and resumes voters registration. Fashion Finest Africa unveils vision for 2025 epic show as it eyes global opportunity for designers. US and Nigeria to bridge protein gap with soybean trade. Trump threatens to set Dodge and Musk as per feud over budget plan. Premier League club interested in Arokadare. That's as news as detailed by Timiola Emanuela. I am Matsu Okwamitorishe. Thanks for watching.